Well, good morning again, and here we are, out for a few hours in the woods. So just walking down the back alleyway, and another gorgeous day. Very early winter here in Bolton, and just gonna have a couple of hours, chill out, bit of a think, a brew, something to eat, and then get on with the rest of the stuff that I've got to do for the day. So yeah, lovely day, sun's out, all is good. Get back to you soon. And in the customary tradition of these local walks, we're walking down to the subway again, and as you can see, much leaf fall. Still quite a lot of leaves left on the tree, but at least we're sort of accelerating into winter a little bit. So here's our subway again. Noisy traffic above. And on today's walk, we're going to turn right. As I mentioned in previous videos, we've got woodlands both to the left and the right at the end of this subway. And I did the left-hand woodland last time, so I'm going to go and check out this other much bigger woodland. We'll just have a quick look around here. And again, sorry about the sound of the traffic in the background. So let's move on to the next woods. And here we are, back to the woods. We've just got on the path here. Quite a bit more leaf fall here, but still many green leaves on the tree there, still holding out. Always a magical time of year, autumn, when it goes into winter. So beautiful. Right, let's carry on. Right, so about halfway into the woods, to the particular bit where I want to be, and just walked up the hilly bit of the woods here, as you can see. Not a great deal of wildlife at the moment, although I did just hear a squirrel in the tree over there somewhere. And still really dense here. So let's carry on and see what we find. Right, so we've come out the first bit of the woods, and I've decided on a bit of a change today. I was going to have a brew in here, but it's really damp. Of course, you'd expect damp at this time of the year, but it's too much really, and there isn't a great deal of wood really, to be honest, for the fire. However, over here, south facing, sun on the woodland, dryness, and because it's dry, of course, there'll be dry wood in there, and I'll be able to get fire going for my brew. It's a lovely place, this. And as I mentioned in previous videos, it's literally a 10-minute walk away from where I live, in a heavily built up urban area. But just look at it. Right, let's get in the woods. Right, well, it didn't take long to find a spot in this bit of the woods here, somewhere to sit, and I've just kicked a load of the dead fall leaves away, and there's not a lot, to be honest. I would just describe the ground as being damp, and that's because this bit of the woodlands is south facing, whereas across the way you probably can't see through the trees, but the first bit of the woodland that I walked through is just absolutely boggy and sodden with water. So this is a good enough spot here. There's plenty of wood around for a fire, so let's get on it. One of the things I want to talk about while I'm here today is men's mental health. And as men, we kind of talk throughout our lives that if there's anything a little bit sensitive, a bit emotional, that it isn't our domain, and that we've got to be a macho man, and that we've got to be really hard and not talk about stuff. Personally, I think that's a load of bullshit myself. Everybody suffers from mental health issues, or, you know, a good majority of people have, male or female. And I think for men particularly, what we're likely to do if we're affected by any of these issues is just to roll up into a ball and to think, I'll just be really stubborn and it'll go in a couple of days. That's not the case. Look at the levels of male suicides. So what I'm saying as a man, and I'm quite a big geezer, I don't know if it's got me in the lens. I'm a big fella, big hairy ass northerner, and if I had mental health issues, I would go and talk to people about it, talk to my partner, I'd talk to friends. And this is what we've got to do, lads. We have to speak about it. Right? We can't just sit on the settee at home and think it'll go. It won't go. If it's something serious, it'll probably get worse. So come on, lads. If you're feeling a bit down, speak to somebody about it. Doesn't mean you're soft. Right, well, we're not too far off a brew now. Probably about a minute away. Let's just have a quick butchers and see what's going on. Yeah, we're not far off a boil. And this pot stand here, if indeed it is a pot stand, I bought it from the car boot for 20 pence. Usually really expensive. It's quite sturdily made. It's got 2 fold-away legs on it. It's not something I'd use all the time, but sometimes it's just handy if you're just nipping out for a quick brew and something to eat, as I am today. Then it's not a bad little bit of kit really, but yeah, they can be like 20-30 quid. And I'm not a big fan of paying tons of money for stuff, really. It just seems pointless a lot of the time, unless it's something like you know, a really good winter coat. And even that, I've picked up fur-lined thick cotton parka for a £5, so there's always alternatives. So yeah, back to the fire, and time for the obligatory brewing chill in this lovely woods today, and I'll come back in a few minutes. And of course it's boiled and we're ready to go. I always remember something as a kid, and it sort of still stands up nowadays. I'm sure many of you may have experienced this yourself. If you ever sort of make food outdoors or a brew, it always seems to have a really clear taste, and I don't know why this is, but I'm glad it exists anyway. So it's time for a chill for a few minutes, and then we'll explore this woodland a little bit more. Right, well, I've had a brew and a bit of a rest, and sort of just give me time to formulate some ideas for work this year and next year. We're all packed up, and again, I always mention this rather tediously, but there's a reason for doing it, and it's the old bushcraft thing of leave no trace, and you literally wouldn't be able to tell that I've been here at all. So yeah, all packed up and ready to continue the mooch around this lovely woodland on this wonderful day. Right, well, I've never used a selfie stick before, but I want to talk a little bit while I walk, so I've decided to use one. And just had a lovely brew there, and continuing my walk through these beautiful woods. And want to get back to men's mental health again for a minute, and I've got to say big respect to Haze Outdoors for organising his mental health awareness thing, which has been running on YouTube for about 3 weeks. He's called it humorously Show Us Your Steak, where people go into the woods, cook a steak, talk about mental health issues, and then they put a link in the video underneath to a mental health charity to raise awareness. So good on you, Haze, and good on any of the other bushcrafters and any of the other outdoor folk who took this challenge up. And I think there's probably around 20 odd or 30 odd videos on YouTube now where people have taken this issue up. But it's a really serious thing though, fellas. I think everybody has, you know, days where they feel a bit pissed off, or a couple of days or weeks or whatever. And you know, as we know now, most mental health issues can be dealt with. Some can be removed completely, and some can sort of be dealt with through counselling, some through pharmaceutical drugs. But there's almost always a choice, fellas. And you know, if you want to have a decent life, you know, be able to enjoy our work and our time while we're alive, then having good mental health is, you know, can only make you enjoy things more, to make you work a little bit better. And again, I emphasise, it's something that we've sorely neglected over the decades. And I'm not meaning to sound hippie or anything here, but you know, we do need to sort of get in contact with ourselves a little bit, think a little bit more about how we think, what we do, how we work, how we get on with other people. And all of this thinking about stuff, you know, can only sort of add to recovery and people getting better. So I've worked in mental health before as well, and you know, it's quite shocking really when people sort of see that there's no hope. They start neglecting themselves, not washing, they become isolated, they stay in, they withdraw from the friends, and those who are very unlucky will take their own lives. And those who decide that they're going to fight back, maybe they will tell the partners, maybe they'll go and seek professional advice. But as I said earlier on, just speak to somebody about it. Once you get it out, you'll start to feel better. And it doesn't necessarily mean either that if you do declare and you find out that you've got mental health issues, that you're going to be dosed up with really strong pharmaceutical drugs. That isn't always the case. And you know, in some cases it can actually take a walk out to the woods, just actually getting out, interacting with people, interacting with your local environment. It's certainly worth doing. You know, if you feel like mildly depressed or a bit pissed off, just get yourself a little rucksack together, go for a walk in the woods, and see what happens. And there's some research recently that suggests that in woodlands particularly, that trees secrete a chemical to protect themselves, but that this chemical also has a beneficial effect on human beings who are walking in the woodlands at the time. So there's science behind it as well. So again, I stress, lads, if you feel pissed off or you feel shit, please speak to somebody about it. And just as a side issue, I've just found some primitive little dens in the woods here that I'm going to show you in a second. And it looks like somebody's had a half decent attempt there at making dens, possibly local kids. And if it is, good on you for having the imagination to get out of the house and drag yourself away from games, consoles, Instagram, and all of the other modern day techie distractions that we have. He says, holding a selfie stick and a mobile phone. So yeah, let's carry on through the woods. And this woodland was formerly, going back a good while, gravel pit. The trees have grown over much of it. And I do have a theory actually that in some of this woodland, when there's really violent winds, a lot of trees that wouldn't usually get blown over are being blown over, and I think that might be down to the fact that the roots of the trees are not able to go down very deep because of the layer of gravel underneath. Just a theory, but quite possibly true. Right, so I've got to get home now, and got quite a few things to do at home. I've got to put some firewood for the wood burner tonight. Got to go out, do a bit of shopping. I've got to try and find a 5-gallon container to rack off this very strong cider that I've made. And I just thought I'd stop here a little bit to admire the beautiful colours of autumn. The sun shining on the trees and showing up all the amazing colours of these leaves. What a wonderful day and a wonderful place. Right, so let's get back onto the road on the other side of the woods.